All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how, or a lesson on how, at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, all the people that genuinely believe in the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are going to receive salvation, right? At the end of the day, that is the overall message of what the Hebrew Israelites are teaching. That all the people that genuinely believe the true doctrine of the Bible and believe in the sacrifice of the Messiah are going to receive salvation. Now, the way how we describe this ultimately bases it around being an Israelite. But if you sincerely listen to the message that the Hebrew Israelites teach for a long enough duration, right, and become not offended by some of the things that might be said in regards to skin color, you will also realize that skin color does not matter for our doctrine in the way that you would think it was. We mentioned skin color in terms of telling the truth in regards to certain things and in terms of pointing out who's doing certain things. But we always make sure that we make it be known that you're an Israelite based on your lineage first, right? And the way to ultimately decide now if you are sincere according to this belief is that your spirit meshes with the spirit of this doctrine, right? If you hear this doctrine and despite what you look like, you believe the things being said, that would mean that you're a believer, which would therefore mean that you're an Israelite, which would therefore mean that you're one of the sincere people that's going to get salvation regardless of what you look like, because it's ultimately about being an Israelite. And the only people that can believe this message are Israelites. Nobody else would believe this. They'd be hindered from believing it because they have not been predestined from the foundation of the world, because the only people predestined to receive salvation is the nation that's under the promise, right? Because it's genuinely not of works lest anyone should boast, because you're born into it, and you're born into it being based on being predestined through a certain lineage, a certain nationality, which is the children of Israel. Not of works lest anyone should boast. It's not anything physical that you did. You're born into it. It's not because you was born and then you became a Christian years later in your life, because that would be a works. It's because you was born into the nation that are going to receive the promise and predestined to do certain works. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8, for by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, meaning you didn't do nothing to earn it, not of works lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in a Mashiach Yahweh Shai, unto good works, which Yahweh have before ordained that we should walk in them. Right? Any works that anyone's doing right now that are beautiful things that are actually going to make them receive salvation in the last days, it is not because of themselves, man. And that's one of the things that we have to always remember, to stay humble, that any video you do, any beautiful works, anything you do, being brotherly, all these things, right? Not being a demon like other people are, right? Receiving salvation and mercy despite you committing sins and iniquities. Yahweh having mercy on you and you escaping out of certain intense situations in your life. That's because Yahweh made you have that happen to you, not because of you having the skills. It's not because you had no techers. It's because Yahweh took you out of it. He dragged you out of that dark pit that you was living in to make you see the light, man. That's what's going on, right? That's what's going on, man. That's the place that we're in right now. Now, let me 1 second. All right. Let me read this again. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8, for by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works as any man should boast. It's not because of us why we even believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. It's not because of us, man. Verse 10, for we are his workmanship. Yahweh made us like this, creating a Mashiach Yahweh Shai into good works, which Yahweh have before ordained that we should walk in them. Like certain Edomites that are extremely wicked, right? They cannot not be wicked. The elites, yeah, that think the evil, a wicked, vindictive way that they think, they genuinely cannot not be like that. It's impossible for them to not believe in the wickedness that they believe in, right? They're accustomed to do evil and cannot change from being accustomed to do that. It was made for that purpose. The same way how the believers in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai can sincerely never not want to speak his. They cannot not speak the word, man. And I want to get a scripture in Jeremiah, and I think it's Jeremiah 23, but I might be wrong, and I don't have it highlighted. I don't think I've got it highlighted on this device, man. Let me see if I can remember where that was, man. Where Jeremiah was saying, "I'm catching hell," and then I said, "I won't speak the Lord's name anymore." Right? I'm trying to see if I can remember where that is, man. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try and find that. All right. The Wadi Al-Bashir I was able to find it. This is Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 9. Then said I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, but his word was in mine heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. So the elect to the nation of Israel, the people that are going to genuinely believe in Yahweh Shem Shai, even if they desire to not want to be about that, they're going to be forced into doing it, man, because they're not going to be able to chill and relax and not speak about the Lord, man. They're going to have to. They ain't going to be able to just, I'm going on a spiritual vacation and I'm not talking about him for a whole year. They're not going to be able to not speak about him, man. They're going to have to. There's going to be something within them. They're going to have to, just like how among the Edomites, they have to be wicked, man. They can't not be. They was made like that, right? And the elect was made to believe and to do works that are going to make them receive salvation. They can't not do, the thing is, they can't not do those works. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 24, man's goings of Yahweh, how can a man then understand his own way? All the struggles and things that people are going through that are of the elect is because they're of the elect. Your path ain't the same as anyone else's path. The things that you're allowed to do and not allowed to do are different. The things that you can get away with and can't get away with are different, man. Your journey is not the same as everyone else's journey. Your destiny, your end goal is not going to be the same as everyone else's, because when it really goes down and it's everything's happened that's supposed to happen before all the prophecies before the prophecies that speak of the kingdom get activated and come to pass anyway. All the prophecies before, I'm talking about all the prophecies that have to happen leading up to us getting on the chariots if we have the elect. There's going to come a time where all those things have happened and they're not going to have to be waiting to happen no more, right? When all of that's happened, the end is going to be that the elect are on UFOs, God's chariots, things that the world is going to call UFOs in that day. They're going to be on those, and everybody else is going to be down on the earth catching all kinds of hell. That's going to be the end result of all of this, man. That's where it ends. That's where it's going, right? That's the end game for all of this. That's the end game, man. Man's going of Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way? And like, I want to get this verse as well, because ultimately all the believers that believe in Yahweh Shem Shai are going to be gathered. And that's the end of it. Like, no one can stop this from happening. No one's going to be able to do anything about it. Amos chapter 9 and verse 9, for lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. And in this case, the grain is talking about a believer. The lowest level believer is not going to fall on the earth to just be destroyed, to not grow into the seed that they're supposed to be growing into, man. Right? That least seed of corn, right? That least corn of grain of corn, man, is not going to just fall to the earth to not grow into what it's supposed to be, which is an immortal God on the earth that teaches, that teaches the heathen and both does themselves God's laws, man. And that's the end result of all of this. Like, at the end of the day, all the people that believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai are going to get salvation. So all you people crying and complaining about Hebrew Israelites mentioning and speaking about color, does it matter that Jesus is a so-called black man? Well, of course it matters, because everything that's true matters. And there's not no thing that's hidden in the darkness that's not going to be brought to the light. That was hidden in the darkness. It's been brought to the light. And if you're a genuine person that really believes in the Lord, you should want every single thing good and that might be considered bad about the Bible brought out so that the day of salvation can come. If you're trying to hide things, you don't want the Lord's day to come. But again, at the end of the day, all the people across the world that genuinely believe in the Bible are going to receive salvation. right? At the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.